Hello everyone, welcome back to Higher Max. As you can see from the title of the video, today we will be discussing Life in a Year, the new movie that came out featuring Jaden Smith and Cara Delevingne. And oh, am I so excited to get into this, y'all, because your girl loves a good coming of age movie. But before we continue on, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow the socials, my personal one down below, and my second Instagram, which is Confessions of a Black Girl, which is a space for Black girls, women, and femmes to feel celebrated and vulnerable. Now, let's get into this video. So how I'm going to go about this is I'm going to give y'all my rating, talk about some of the characters and the plot lines, and what got me in my feels. I just want to reiterate, I love a good coming of age movie, and I'm personally rating this a good 8.5 out of 10 because it did all the things I needed this film to do. It gives me 5 Feet Apart meets The Fault in Our Stars kind of vibes because one of our characters, Izabelle, played by Cara Delevingne, is suffering from a terminal illness. This movie did all the things it needed to do. It made me annoyed, it made me happy, it put me in my feels, it blindsided me, just all the cute moments. I finished it just before filming this, and when I tell y'all, I literally was having to speak to myself saying, Maxine, you do not have time to cry. You really do not have time to cry. You need to get your act together and not let this little movie get into your head like this. One of my favorite elements is the fact that there is a musical element to this movie, especially since Jaden Smith himself is a musician. And it's been so long since we've seen him in the big screen, so this was one of the best ways for him to come back, especially during this resurgence of rom-coms and coming of age movies that's been happening over the past 2-ish years. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that Cara also sang on some of the songs in the soundtrack, because listen to it, obviously he's a rapper in the movie, and so you can hear him and we know Jaden's voice because of the fact that he has his music. He's really good at what he does. But at the same time, there were songs that I was like, is this Cara? I was trying to Google to find the soundtrack, but I wasn't able to find it yet. But I'm pretty sure Cara is singing, and I had no idea that Cara Delevingne knows. I didn't know she had some pipes on her. I really had no idea. I want to listen to that one song again that he wrote for her, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get into what this film is about. Practically, it's a boy meets girl, girl rejects boy because he's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and she's real and rough. They grew up on different sides of the track. He is from the suburbs and he's honorable, fastest runner in the district or the state, I don't know. He's planning on going to Harvard and his dad is very hard on him. His mom is very sweet, so he has all of those expectations. On the other hand, she is very carefree, she does not go to school, and this is what we know of her at the beginning, right? She's just this free spirit because when they meet at that Big Sean concert, she kind of just does whatever she needs to do. He eventually asks her out and she's disinterested, not wanting to be with him because he doesn't seem like her type of guy. Eventually they start going out and they start using this term one more, because after each date it'd be like one more. And personally, to me, the reason why it gives me The Fault in Our Stars vibes is because remember when Hazel and Augustus were like, maybe okay will be our forever? I feel like their one more is their forever, and so that, first of all, just that thing alone got me in my feelings a little bit. Obviously they continue dating, he falls in love and she's like, boy, you are not gonna fall in love with me because I am terminally ill. And he, you know, he stays and he wants to prove their relationship. You can tell because she's been growing up with her cool au pair. I would say you can see she's been disappointed so much because of being left by her parents and all of that. She just is not used to people being there for her, and she doesn't expect Jaden's character to be so invested in her. I think she's always waiting for the other shoe to drop, which is really saddening. And obviously their relationship develops, and because he finds out that she has a terminal illness, he now wants to do this thing with milestones. He's learned because of his dad to plan, how to execute, how to do all these things, and he wants to do all these milestones that they would have been able to do over the course of their life. You know, if you're dating someone long term, you buy a house, you get married, you get engaged. He wants to do all of those things within the year that she had to live. All these things went well, like when they went to go pretend to buy a house. Some of these things also didn't go well because there are moments that she could never have, like when he was proposing to her. It wasn't because their relationship was at that stage, just because he wanted to do that milestone, and that really, really hurt her. I really feel like both of these characters, what I love the most about this is that they helped each other grow in different ways. He was living half a life and she was living on borrowed time, and somehow they completed each other to give each other more. She didn't believe in happily ever after when she met him, and he never bet on himself. He bet on the dreams that his parents had for him and the path that they had laid out for him, and the way that she pushed him in his music, pushed him because she knew that he was creative and wanted him to do those amazing things, and she wanted him to meet Big Sean. And on the other hand, he wanted to give her everything that she didn't think that she deserved. That's why he pushed her to go meet her mom and all of those types of things, to build relationships, to live the fullest life that she can in the time that she had left. Even emotional just thinking about it, like just, ooh. They really did balance each other out in that way, and you can see that there's a lot of character development that takes place throughout the whole film. To be honest, one of the parts that just really gets me is the wedding scene, because that was one of the milestones that she planned herself, because usually he was the one planning all the milestones. And especially after because that was the tipping point after she got really, really sick, and that one day that he had gotten off, she ended up in hospital, and he really blamed himself. And I think he had this hope in his heart that she would survive it and they would be able to live happily ever after, which unfortunately didn't happen. So the wedding scene was just one of those things where it was beautiful, because that was her display of her feelings, because I feel like she's more of an acts of service kind of person. She was able to display her feelings for him in that kind of way. And it had all their friends there, and they had his mom there. Other thing that really gets me is that's the night that his dad hears the song that he wrote for her, I believe, and it's a beautiful, beautiful song. I really like, it's about her being his love and all of that. I think that's one of the first time, because Jaden's dad in the movie is such a, I want to say borderline abusive, because emotionally and physically, because of the way he was about to hit him, just because of the fact that he didn't want to go to Harvard, which was very extreme. It's not like your son is trying to be a bum, like he just doesn't want to do that, and that's okay. I think he started to understand how serious this thing is between his son and Izabelle, which was very, very important. Part of who his son was, and he had never even gotten to know his son because of all these other expectations he put on him, unprovoked. And I also, I want to empathize with Daryn's dad, so Jaden's dad in the movie, because he came a long way, and he started from the bottom to get to where he is. And so obviously he has a lot of pressure that he put on himself that he's not putting on his child. The wedding scene got me emotional because they have their little hedgehog they got, which is Square Jr., named after Daryn, because that's his rap name, D Square, that she gave it to him. She'd been making fun of him for being a square, and actually it's kind of fitting. Then when I saw Square Jr. as the ring bearer, I was like, I'm about to be out. And when she was being pulled down the aisle, because I hadn't realized how quickly the disease was progressing, that really, really got me. I love their wedding. I love the people that were there, and the whole scene gets me. Then that night when she started to get really, really sick, she didn't get emotional. But that night when she got really, really sick and she's in bed, and she says to him that this is our final milestone. Thank you for giving me happily ever after. Be still my beating heart. Like, y'all just, the writers wanted me to break. When she said final milestone, like, girl. Like, just the thought of that scene she served the emotion. Cara, you served the emotion. And Jaden, you served the emotion too, because he's busy trying to call 911. He's trying to save her life. No, mama's passing away right in front of his eyes, in his arms. You couldn't even let her pass it, but it's also beautiful that she passed away in his arms, because then they gotta say their final goodbye, but also you can even anyways, it just gets me. And I really didn't expect the dad to come to the funeral. I didn't know that they had even progressed to that point, but I think that was a big step for them in their relationship. And then obviously character development with his friends. His one friend now has been struggling to get girls. It seems like he was getting one friend who had recently lost weight and had been made fun of, and I think was considered not an academic, got into university. So positive things happen to everyone. And even though he lost the love of his life, he also has been afforded, I'm talking about Daryn now, follow his dreams, because he told his parents that he's going to go follow his dreams and go music. And at the beginning of the movie, that he first of all would not have been allowed to do that, and he would never have spoken up about that. I think that's great that he was going to bet on himself Then we see him driving because he's driving to New York and whatever car he got. I don't know who texted him into the radio station. The fact that Izabelle sent something to the radio station to tell people about living their life, and her message to Daryn. One more. Like, guys. Got me in my feels. Got me in my feels. Got me in my feels. This movie got me in my feels. Also, just showing my new nail. I think that was so sweet, and I love that he got to hear his song play on the radio. It was a very full circle moment from, you know, first he was going to a rap show and ends off that he's becoming a rapper. It was a sweet movie, and I think you should watch it. I think if you're someone who enjoys coming of age movies that make you cry and sad and that are not happy endings but are still resolutions in a happy way, this is the film for you. I would suggest you get on it. As I'm hoping that I can find out more information about the soundtrack so I know who else is on it, because I heard a lot of songs by Jaden. I think we'll see if this Cara is the one who was featured on that one track. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions about the characters, about their love story. If you even like movies like this. I'm so glad that I was able to make this quick review for y'all. I wanted to make it ASAP Rocky as soon as the film came out because I was like, this just looks up my alley. I want to remind y'all to not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow the socials, as you can see. And I'll be seeing you very, very soon for another video. Goodbye.